Alexandra, and a little over 2 years ago, I started my online business. If you haven't watched any of my videos, I do self-publishing on Amazon KDP. And up until this year, I was based in Portugal, but I've always loved traveling. And so this year, I've decided that I'm going to just travel the whole year while growing my business. The only thing that has enabled me to do this, to travel and work whenever I want from wherever I want, is having an online business. And I know that many of you are trying to start an online business, or some of you want to travel and some of you just want to have like independence and work whenever you want. So I've decided to make a video that might help you avoid some of the mistakes and failures that I've experienced while trying to start an online business. So we all know that there are so many possibilities in today's world, from e-commerce to starting your own software company to having an agency to doing what I'm doing, self-publishing. The opportunities are endless and it's simply very difficult to choose. And I think that decision paralysis is a real thing. But the truth is, watching YouTube videos about all these different online businesses and not taking action won't take you anywhere. And even for myself, before I started doing self-publishing, I did so many different things. I tried to work on my own startup. I tried to do a B2B business. I even tried to build an iOS app with a friend of mine until I came across self-publishing, and I decided to give it a try and actually focus only on that. So the biggest point is choose one single business model to focus on. Don't get distracted by all these shiny objects and try and chase different things at the same time, because you will just end up being more confused. You will waste time trying to learn so many different things at the same time, and it will be difficult for you to stick with it. Because starting your own business is always very exciting in the beginning, and there is that novelty aspect of it, that you are doing something new and you are excited. It happens to me as well, and it happened to me previously when I worked on all my other projects. But the truth is that the more time passes, that excitement fades away, and it's so easy to just try and chase a new thing. And it might seem like the grass is greener on the other side, but the truth is you just need to focus on that one single business model that you want to try. And when it comes to deciding what it is that you want to work on, I highly recommend working on something that is already validated. I've already talked about this in my previous video, but I think it's super important that you do some research to understand if there is any demand for whatever it is that you want to build or for whatever it is that you want to sell. So I think in this respect, reverse engineering is one way to go about it. I've done it and I still do it for my business. I think it's a really good way to find out what your audience wants. For instance, for my products, what I like to do is I like to find out where my audience hangs out, and I find Reddit to be very helpful when it comes to this. So I go on Reddit and I try to find out what it is that they complain about, what problems they have, what solutions they are looking for. And you really need to get an insight into what your customers want. You could even involve them in some of the decisions that you are making for your new product or your new business by going on Reddit and asking them questions, and your potential audience will engage with you as long as it doesn't come across like you are trying to sell them something. When you are starting out and when you are working on a new project or a new product, in my experience, it's very helpful to do everything yourself. First of all, because you most likely won't have the capital, or you just don't want to allocate any budget to hiring anyone. And second of all, because you must learn everything yourself in the beginning. I think the fact that I did everything myself when I started out with self-publishing has really helped me understand how to do things, has really helped me in hiring people later on. I think even if I had the money in the beginning to hire people, I would not have done it. But I think This is one of the good things. Maybe try and find a business model that doesn't have many upfront costs and you can do everything yourself, and then it will be very easy. When you start working on something new, it's extremely important to be consistent with what you're doing. As long as your idea is validated and you know that there is a need for it, there is demand for it, even if you don't see as many sales as you would want, or you don't even make sales at all, that doesn't mean that your idea is broken and you just now have to switch to something else. It simply means that this is the process of you learning what it takes to get it off the ground, and the only way you will be ahead of so many other people who are trying to start something is by sticking with it and being disciplined enough not to give up when things get hard, which 100% they will get hard. This is something that I had to learn myself, because even prior to starting my self-publishing business, I almost gave up on even trying to make anything work. But after starting it and after having success with it as well, I've had very low moments. And I've had moments when, after experiencing a bit of success, my business went down again. And that was extremely difficult to deal with, because you have the impression that you're doing something wrong, or after all that time invested and all those skills learned, you are still not growing on a monthly basis or on a yearly basis, but instead it's going down. There was a point where I said I'm not going to do self-publishing anymore, and for 2 months I just simply tried to start something else. But then I came back to it and I gave my everything, and I put so much effort into trying to grow the business again, and then it took off again. But that wouldn't have happened if I had quit completely. And I think it took me that failure to understand that just because your business is not doing well doesn't mean that you should give up. Instead, that's when I think you should double down and do more, because you need to catch up. Another thing I've realized and I understood about myself while growing this business is that there are moments when you have some goals, and this used to happen to me a lot when starting out as well, and I think it happens when you start a new business, which is you are being reluctant in taking the steps that you already know will move you forward and will lead to a good outcome. So the way I deal with that now is when I notice myself holding back, because it does happen to me still when it comes to new business ideas, or even when it comes to YouTube content creation. And I just have to stop and ask myself, why do I not believe enough in this? Or why do I not believe enough in myself that I can do this? Because most of the time, when you already know that those steps will help you grow your business, or they will make your life better in whatever way, then there's no doubt that you should do it. But the reason we don't do it is because we don't believe enough in it. And I think asking myself that actually helps me put things into perspective and understand that if I simply believed in myself that I can do it, I would have done it by now. So I just need to take those steps, and trying to shift the mindset that causes that reluctance to take action. Also, when it comes to consistency, one of the things I've learned while trying to start my own business and failing at so many different projects and trying to do so many different things, is that you only actually learn how to make something work when you stick long enough with it. Otherwise, you simply won't have enough time to learn what it takes to grow that business. You will only be truly successful if you work on that business long enough to learn all the ins and outs of how to make it grow. And here it's really just about time. You will certainly not know how to have a successful business and how to grow it in 3 months. That time is simply not enough, because a successful business requires so many iterations. And you cannot put a time constraint on that. You cannot say, okay, now I'm going to condense everything into just 3 months, and it just doesn't work like that, because you need feedback from your customers as well. You need feedback from the market. The market is in a constant change. There are new competitors coming up, And that's something that you need to learn and deal with over a long period of time for you to understand it. So if I were to start a new business today, I would be consistent with it and give it enough time for me to learn everything about that business model, about the customers, about the competitors, about the market, and learn marketing skills, but also how to offer a good product to your customers. Because I was reading this recently and I got reminded of how sometimes a great product is the only marketing you need. And I do think this is true. If you have a good product where your customers are so satisfied with it and so happy with it that they start telling other people about it, you won't even need marketing. And your product will do the work for you. That's not to say you should not do marketing at all. I definitely do it for my product. But I do think that having a good product is the basis, and everything else comes after that. I hope you liked this video. I really love talking about business and I love surrounding myself with people who do as well. And yeah, subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future. Thank you for watching.